Hello there, fellow pilots. This is Black Hellhound once again, and today we are going to take a look at how to improve your gameplay. However, I'm going to do it a little bit different. This time, I'm going to show you everything I have told you in my previous videos combined into one gameplay. It is of course important that you have seen my previous how to improve your gameplay videos to understand what I'm going to say in here, because everything I'm going to say is directly related to those previous videos. If you haven't seen them yet, I advise you go take a look at them. The links will be on the screen and in the description. What you see here is the P51 B5 with a custom skin. The skin was made by me, and if you want to check out some of my other skins, click on the link in the description. So, let me tell you a little bit of information about this aircraft before we get into battle. This aircraft is kind of a mix of everything and nothing. Now, what do I mean by this? It's an aircraft capable of turn fighting, energy fighting. It has great engine performance, but on the other side, it isn't good at all of them. It's not a great turn fighter, it's not a great energy fighter, and its engine performance is basically the only thing that excels on this plane. It has great acceleration and therefore a great dive speed. Other than that, it's kind of a mediocre plane, and that's actually what makes it very good for this type of video, because I am capable of showing you all aspects of energy fighting, dogfighting, situational awareness, and it's all in one video. In this game, I am using ground targets ammunition, and the reason is relatively simple. For this aircraft, you have basically two very good and powerful types of ammunition. You have the armor-piercing incendiary tracers, and you have armor-piercing ammunition. Now, armor-piercing ammunition, which my plane is now packed with, is very good for critically damaging planes. However, it's not very fast at killing things. Armor-piercing incendiary tracers, on the other hand, they do less damage, but they set planes on fire in no time. So, they're kind of as good as the other is, but neither one is the best. I'm using the ground unit ammunition with armor piercing rounds because I like to see what I'm shooting at without having this giant red stream of bullets in front of me. So this kinda helps me see my target a little bit easier, and therefore makes my aim a little bit better, and I can kill faster with less ammunition. So, what's going on right now? Me and my teammates, all random guys, never met them before, we are just climbing. We are in a relatively large group. There's quite a bit of space between the small groups in this big ball, but we're still relatively close to each other, which is good. However, to our right, a few guys did not stick with the group, and they are currently under attack by the enemy. That's of course not very good. Now right now, me and my team are still climbing because we see targets that are dangerous to us and that are above us. I am of course still, and I will continue to do this throughout the entire match, looking for targets of opportunity, dangerous targets, people I need to watch out for, and also where are my teammates, because of course it's very important to see where your teammates are, who you can rely on, and who has a possibility of killing someone else. So right now we turned into battle, and unfortunately the replay system decided to kill the engine sound, so it kinda sounds a bit boring. However, there's still my voice. So what we are doing now is we turn towards the battlefield, and I'm just looking down to see if I can find anyone that is out of the group, that is not in the enemy's big verbal with a few teammates in him. However, I can't really see anyone that I can dive on. If I was to dive in now, it was actually very dangerous. And then there is the second factor. Some of the enemy's team hasn't been found yet, which means they could be above us, and usually they are. So right now I decide it is actually better to stay at altitude, possibly climb a bit more, and get a good view over the battlefield and find everyone before we start the battle. Now of course I'm still looking around all over the place, trying to find anyone that I hadn't seen yet. Now there's a clear example. He just now popped up and I had no idea where he was until he popped up. Now he's going after a teammate, so I see my teammate needs help. This is a perfect target. Why? He's alone, he's going after a teammate, he's probably not watching his six very well. So I dive on him. However, he notices me, but I'm not going after him, and the reason is simple. My teammate's going after him, and I have a lot of speed, and speed needs to be used. Right now, as you can see right there behind me, there is a plane. I did see him before, however, he got a bit close now. He is chasing me, and that is of course not very good, but here's the problem. He had an altitude advantage, which means he is able to get more speed. However, a teammate of mine is there to distract him, allowing me to turn around and fly towards my teammates. This will, of course, make him less dangerous towards me. However, I now endanger my teammates, so it's kind of a situation where you have to be thinking, is it worth it to risk my teammates or is it worth it to risk myself? Now in this situation, I think it is safer for all of us if I was to get him towards my teammates. I believe right now there is 2 or 3 teammates in the area that can help me. However, there is a small problem. He is above everyone. Nobody in my team is above him and capable of diving on him, possibly to scare him, to get him in a dive or force him to make a mistake. So right now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out what he is doing and how I can counter this to force him to make a mistake. Now in the beginning, which is right now, he actually doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He has a very solid plan, a very solid attack strategy, which is very good. However, he's not consistent, and you will see that later on. So right now, what is he doing? He is staying above us, and when he has the chance, he dives on us from the front, forcing an head-on. For us, this is bad news. He has 3 nose-mounted cannons, and we have wing-mounted guns, basically making his plane much stronger in a head-on. So, we must, whatever happens, avoid head-ons. And unfortunately, one of my teammates at some point does take the head-on and gets demolished. That's not very good, because that means we are 1 man down. Is that terrible? No. We still have 3 men up here. However, losing a teammate is always bad, because the more teammates you have, the more firepower and distraction there is in your team that will allow you to control the battlefield and get the upper hand. So right now what I'm doing is I'm simply chasing him to see exactly what his attack plan is and kinda to force him to attack me. Now right there you see my teammate in a head-on. He does not survive. At this point I know exactly what his plan is, and I'm already diving a little bit to get some speed so I can avoid the head-on a little bit easier. So right here, as you can see, I do some defensive maneuvers. These do not particularly make it impossible for him to shoot me, however they make it very, very difficult. And that's the only thing I care about at this point. I'm gonna chase him again, and my teammate, I believe he's in a Mustang, tries to get behind me, which is good. A teammate's always good. So right now I'm climbing, trying to get above him. However, he just came out of a dive. So what's he gonna do? As you can see right here, he is going to make a inverted Immelman. For those of you who do not know what that is, basically you make half a loop and then you end up upside down, and then you level out again by rolling over. Once again here I avoid the head-on, and now he's going for my teammate, but my teammate is not stupid. He also avoids the head-on. And this is the point where I noticed that the enemy, the LA7, started to become a bit agitated. How do I know this? I know this by the simple fact that instead of making an inverted Immelman, like he has done so many times before, he just made a flat turn. And that is his problem. That's the mistake he made. Right now he lost all his energy. Now of course my plane is a bit wobbly, but instead of going directly after him, I here make a loop to position myself above him, dive on him, and right here I'm behind him. He absolutely demolished his own advantage as soon as he made that flat turn. Now right here we make a split S, also known an Immelman, and as you can see I'm right behind him. If he would have continued to dive, he would have gotten away. Why? The Mustang is good at a dive, but the LA7 is simply faster. That would mean goodbye LA7. However, he doesn't. Instead, he climbs back up and he makes a right hand turn. Now, considering the speeds that we have, I was easily capable of turning inside of him using my maneuverability. I got inside him, I got a few shots on him, and it was bye-bye. Right now, a bit of a boring part happens. At this point, it is a 5 versus 3 situation. Might even be 6 versus 3. We have me in a P51D5, my teammate behind me in a P51D5, and there's a teammate about 9 kilometers in front of me, all the way down on the deck, trying to outrun an LA9 and a Yak 9. Right now, my goal is go down and help him. And the reason why I give up my altitude is for 2 reasons. I convert it into speed, which allows me to quickly catch up with my teammate. But also the fact that I know no more enemies are up high. Because if they were up high, they would have helped their teammate, and me and my teammate behind me probably wouldn't have been able to kill the enemy LA7. What you see right here, the little red dot, is the LA9. Now the Yak 9 is not very fast and he has fallen behind, and he is at this point I believe 5 kilometers behind me. So right now I do not really worry about him. Instead I focus on the LA9. Right now I'm going very fast, so when I attack I need to be very careful. And it actually doesn't give me a shot right here. I'm simply going too fast. Now the Bearcat knows that he can outmaneuver the LA9, so that's what he does. However, I cannot follow in turn because I'm going too fast. If I would have followed, my wings would have fallen off and it would have been bye-bye me. So instead I go up, lose a bit of speed, then roll over to dive on him when I notice that he's gone. What I hadn't noticed at that point was that AA took care of him. Now here's the good part about my situation. I still have loads of speed from that initial dive. From all the way up high, I still have lots of speed. Now this Yak 9, which is coming in right here, gets attacked by my teammate. If that wouldn't have happened, he may have been able to launch an attack at me. However, my teammate attacks him. Unfortunately, he breaks his wings because he did go fast and make a turn. But now I'm way above the Yak 9, and I have a great speed advantage. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna get above him and use energy. I start off the engagement with an energy fight. Right here, as you can see, I'm looking around still to see if I can find anyone else in the area. Now the Yak 9 makes a turn that I cannot follow, so once again I convert my speed into altitude. However, with the use of my maneuverability, I then position myself behind him again in a dive. However, he is not stupid, he climbs back up, he wants to force me in a head-on, and I say no. Using my speed I build up in the dive, I then make a loop, getting myself in a perfect position behind the Yak 9. Right now, he's trying to dive away, which is a good option, but I simply have more altitude and more speed. He makes a turn, I get a shot, and he is basically gone. Right now, I don't even look at him anymore to see if he might survive. I look at him to see how far he has burned up. And this is basically a bit of an annoying, but also a very good situation. And I'm gonna show you exactly why after the end of this clip. So I'm gonna take this out and I'm gonna take a closer look at it. So, what's the situation? My speed is not very high, and he is coming from above me. So what I do, just before he gets into gun range, is I turn around and I force him to miss me. If he would have climbed back up, I wouldn't have been able to do anything. However, because he makes a turn, I can roll over and simply get on his 6. And it all has to do with the simple fact that he has more speed than I do. I shoot a bit, I miss. That happens. However, I'm still behind him, and that's good. I'm using my flaps right here to get a little bit better control over my aircraft at low speeds. And once again, I get a shot, and this time I hit him. Here he makes a mistake. He decides to go after the Bearcat, which was a total fail. He does not hit the Bearcat, and he puts himself in a perfect spot for me to kill him. He's a goner. It's that simple. So, once again, I climb back up because I still have loads of energy. And now I take a look at the scoreboard and I see there is 2 players left. Now of course I'm communicating with the Bearcat that is still alive and in my team. We decide to stick together. And as you can see in the kill feed, there is an LA7 doing ground attack. That's good news for us. And the reason is very simple. He's an LA7, and an LA7 that is low is not capable of defeating a Mustang. I can now have every advantage I possibly want over that guy. So, to increase that advantage even more, I climb, but I don't climb a lot, and the reason is simple. I also want to get over there. I want to go kill him. So, I go a little bit faster by not climbing as much. My Bearcat friend spots him before I do, and he engages him without letting me know. By the time that I get to know it, he actually puts himself in a bad spot because the LA7 just turned behind him. Now you will see this in a second. Right now we are just communicating, looking, seeing if we can find him, and there's the LA7. Now the Bearcat is in a bad spot because he overshot and the LA7 is on his 6. But the LA7 does the worst thing he could ever do. I'm just gonna let the video show it. That didn't even take effort. All I had to do was dive, line up my guns just right, and fire. I didn't do a single other thing. And that is one of those things where teammates are very good for. Because my teammate brought him into that position and I was able to kill him. Right here we see the last guy. He's a year 2, and I'm actually gonna do something that I would never ever do in any other situation. I'm gonna fly behind him. Why am I gonna fly behind him? Well, first of all, I know that he only has a single gun in the back. A single gun does not do a whole lot of damage. And I know that if I focus fire on a single wing and engine, I can quickly take him out. In any other situation, I advise you to avoid flying behind a bomber. The reason why I do it? He was the last guy. And I had a teammate who could finish the job if I did actually fail. Now I did get damaged in the process, which is of course not very nice, but it's part of the game. So right now, 5 kills, game is over, beautiful score. So, let's take a look at the engagement against the Yak-9 that had the advantage over me. Now this part you have already seen of course, but this time I'm going to break it down a little bit more. So, what am I doing? I just killed the other Yak-9 and I'm climbing to get some altitude. Altitude is always in every situation your friend. So right now I'm flying away from the Yak-9. I'm climbing a bit to get some altitude, but I'm also slowing down. And I'm actually doing this on purpose. And the reason why will be seen very soon. So right here he's about 1 click behind me, and I turn around, I wiggle around a bit to make it very difficult for him to shoot. Now this right here is basically the make or break it moment for this engagement. He now has 2 options. Continue flying in a straight line, climb back up and engage me on a later time. Or, what he did here, turn, give up its energy and engage me in a dogfight. Now he engages me in a dogfight. However, this is where my speed comes in handy. He is going a lot faster, which means he will overshoot me, which is exactly what I want. After he overshoots me, I can get behind him perfectly fine, and then I am engaging him instead of him engaging me. Right now, I quickly roll behind him, taking a position behind him. He is not completely stupid and he climbs up as he should. Now I want to cut him off in the climb, try to get a shot, but I can't. Right now I extend my combat flaps to maintain the control over my aircraft, allowing me to get on his 6 again, faster than I would otherwise. And right here he is going to make a mistake. Instead of trying to avoid me, he rolls the other side, giving me a perfect shot in an attempt to get a shot at the Bearcat. Now this of course does not end well for him. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and learned a lot from it. Don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. This was Black Hellhound, and I'll see you later.